Right, I think now this is solved. Yes, so I was basically talking to no one then. That is awesome. Anyways, I had a setting that I hadn't enabled here, my bad here. Anyways, it's 3 minutes left in the session. The drivers are going to start to head out onto the track again. Nick Pancras has now set another time. He has set a 1:3.7, has now gone up into 8th fastest. He apologised that his name is not being displayed on the leaderboard, and apologise for also my microphone not being, my microphone audio not being shown on the stream for the beginning, but it's solved right now. Just move on and head on to the last part of this qualifying session. Wakanda Raring then contention for the title. TRT James in P2 right there, 1 minute 3.2. 2.5 tenths behind Wakanda Raring. Wakanda Raring and TRT James both are in contention to take the championship lead away from Kerem, as Monster isn't racing. Monster has those 50 points from his 2 race wins, but he stepped up to the main tier in F1 and not going to score more points, not going to have more opportunities here in F2, as Milan Kotzer has improved a little bit through his first sector. Here we go then with Milan Kotzer now to the end of sector number 2. Gets let by here by one of the Mercedes, seems to be a Vesta, as you come around across sector 2. The drivers are going to start to come out right now, or if there is some kind of glitch in the clock, we don't know, as around the last corner goes Milan Kotzer. Can he improve that time? And we'll see where he's going to go. Stays 11th fastest. I don't think he improved that lap time at all. And then there is one of the Alfa Romeos now crossing the lines. You see the top 3, the top 2, second and third place, that's better saying, starting their laps as well. TRT James improving a little bit, needs a little bit more time on that last sector, and I don't think he can find those 2 tenths right there. He needs quite a bit miracle there through the last couple of corners. Can he get that pole position away from Wakanda Raring? And it goes really wide and invalidates that time in the last corner of the circuit, and it's not going to be pole position for TRT James. Vestas though seems to be improving solidly well, and seems to be getting a little bit of help there from the Red Bull. Could be dead tier into these corners, but could be pole position here for Vestas if he nails those last 2 corners, and he does not invalidate. He's going to sprint to the line now, and it is second fastest only by less than 200ths of a second, 1:3.0, right behind Wakanda Raring. I'm not sure if he has enough battery to go for another run. Wakanda Raring is improving at that time. So Wakanda Raring is in a prime position to take pole position here. Vesta could not steal at that time around. So what is it going to be like here? Vesta improving his first sector by 200ths of a second. Here comes Wakanda Raring then. 3 tenths now down on that time. He's probably aborted that lap. His qualifying clock has run down to 0. We seem to be over. And who is coming around on a flying lap? There's one of them McLarens. That should be Papine. Not going to improve on that time. And there is Wakanda Raring now crossing the line with MK17. MK17 does not improve as well. The clock doesn't seem to have run down to 0 yet. TRT James has retired. Bad Boy now goes 4th fastest. And there is the Mercedes of Avesta, probably not going to make it for another flying lap, and the clock has now run down to 0. It's all over. Avesta's not going to get pole position here. Here comes Yoda Speak. Jerry's spun. Yoda Speak is invalidated that lap time. How does Nick Pancras do? Also invalidated his lap time. And you see one of the Williams right behind Kimi improving a little bit. That could set him around for the top 10. Kimi across the line doesn't improve. Invalidated lap time as well on the last couple of corners. Now, where does Papine go? Improving a little bit. Hope he doesn't invalidate here. He doesn't. Will come across the line now and does not steal any position from anybody. And Wakanda Raring back to the pits will steal pole away by less than 200ths of a second to Vesta Race, and that's 14 thousandths of a second between the top two drivers. It's pole position for the Renault driver in Wakanda Raring in Austria, with Vesta right behind them in second, and TRT James right there in P3, another contender, and Kerem, the points leader of the drivers, currently in the lobby and in F2. He's only set a 1 minute 3.7 and will only start in the 4th row of the grid in 7th place. So he'll hope to make up those places on the race. He's got to have that pace right there to be able to get past these 6 drivers ahead of him, because it's not going to be really easy to get those positions right there. But a well-deserved win for was a pole position for Wakanda Raring. He did the fastest second sector only. That was his only purple sector. That's where he gained around 1/10 right there on the Vesta on the second sector. He lost a 10th on the first sector. Their third sector had a difference of 1 millitenth of a second. So there you go, the full qualifying results for Wakanda Raring in P1. Now is Vesta in P2, TRT James in P3, and then it's Bat Boy in the Renault P4. Good starting position for the Renault drivers in P1 and P4. P5 for MK17, then Lukanik. Kerem starts 7th, Nick Pancras in 8th, Pepine 9th, Milan Kostra in 10th, Yuri in 11th, Yoda Speak 12th, then Kimi, the last driver to set a time, in 13th, and Ozia ties with a qualifying ban in 14th. So we're probably going to have Alex Bomberg as well joining for the race, so he should start in 15th place. So the race seems to be dry. The forecast does not seem to have altered the current status. And yeah, Alex Bomberg is in the session. I don't know if there is another driver in. I believe X18 is also in the session and probably going to join us for the race. Let's hope we can start this one soon. Vesta has already readied up, so we could start this race really soon indeed. We'll just wait these 20 seconds right there and give it a little shot right there at taking this first win in VRL. Actually, Wakanda Raring is up there on the table on 29 points, but has not won a race yet on this season. And there is the predicted tyre strategy. Austria is not the track that wears the most out of the tyres, as we see Alex Bomberg in the right car there in P15, and X18 in P16 right there in the Ferrari. He is a Red Bull driver. Either way, as we get on to the formation lap, of Wakanda Raring in the lead, Vesta there in second, and they're all forming up here, warming up their tyres to make sure they get the best start possible, climb up some places, because it is quite important to get a good start, not only in this track but everywhere else. It's really important to get a good getaway and be able to hold on to those spots up there. This is not an easy place to hold on to your position if you are not faster than the car behind. Quite a lot of overtaking spots, if I'm honest. But here we go then, all the drivers now through the second sector getting ready to start the race, and we're going to see the tyres that the guys outside the top 10 fitted. Alright, so we can't apparently. Oh, now we can. So Jerry, Yoda Speed, Kimi tyres have opted to go for the medium tyres, as Alex Bomberg and X18 have opted to go for the soft tyres for their starting tyres. So here we go then, round the last corner. So Wakanda Raring will lead the field towards the grid and towards turn 1. He'll hope to be leading towards it and hope to not get a bad start and not get passed by anyone behind him. Meanwhile, the challenging pack is going to be chasing him towards turn 1. and trying to steal that first spot as everyone lines up on their grid spots. Last car approaching the grid right now is Alex Bomberg, closing in on his grid slot, and here we go then. The lights are going to come on really soon. And here we go. 5 lights ahead of the drivers. And it doesn't seem to have... It seems to be a glitch there, but the lights out and away we've gone. Wakanda has got a good start. Avesta has also defended his second place from TRT James, as we all seem to be clean towards turn 1. Wakanda maintains his lead from Avesta. James all over the back of that Mercedes car. Does not seem to be close enough to overtake into turn 3, as they all seem to come around cleanly. Wakanda in the lead of the race. Avesta maintained second. They all almost held up their spots. MK17 has made up a spot on Bad Boy. He'll try to make up another one here on TRT James round the outside of turn number 5. Can he get the move done right here? Couldn't quite get his stick, but still a good shot right there, trying to get that spot. Wakanda in the lead from Avesta. James, MK17, Bad Boy, Lucanik, Kerem, Nick Pancras, Milan Custer and Pepine filling up the top 10. Not a lot of position changes here at the start, and everyone keeping their wings clean. Actually Bad Boy has got a little bit of damage. He's got a bit of damage there on his front wing, and he is pitting. He's gonna have to change up front wing right now, and that will be a major setback for him on this race. It's the first car to have damage on this race. He'll try to get the hard tyres towards the end of this race. As Wakanda tries to stretch the gap away from TRT James. MK17 battling there with Lucanik has made up a place. CS X18 is making up place as well as Alex Bomberg. Flying start from Alex, already up into 10th place after starting in 15th. Is battling there with Jerry, really close towards turn 5. They're banging wheels right there, and Alex stays up front. Bad Boy then changes his front wing, puts on the hard tyres, goes out onto the track. There's almost a second already made up from Wakanda to Avesta, and he seems to be capitalising on those gaps. But Avesta will get DRS as we head on towards lap number 3, fastest lap of the race from Wakanda a 1 minute 6.1. Avesta then right behind them, 8 tenths of a second separating the top 2, as Anosio Tyres has gone into the pits. Doesn't seem to have damage yet, but he's gone into the pits mysteriously. He's going to put on softs, so I wonder what strategies he's going to try to do here. There is the battle for 9th now. Alex Bomberg really making his way through the field, now trying to get through Milan Kotscher. He's got DRS, goes to the inside at turn number 5. Seems to be quite a move done here. Milan Costa is going to force his way through the outside, late braking, but Alex makes his way through the inside and up into 9th place. Great recovery here on the first couple of laps for Alex. Makes up into P9, now trying to catch Pepine for P8. So the top 3 drivers have got quite a little bit of distance there. As TRT James already got a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. He's the first driver to get a penalty on this race, as well as Milan Kotscher has also got a time penalty. So fast lap of the race still from Wakanda lap number 2. Also a time penalty for Yoda Speak. He's got his first 3 seconds of the day. First 2 not penalties so far. Only 3 laps have gone as Wakanda leads them all down towards turn number 5. And Avesta still on that DRS range from the Renault. James dropping back a little bit. He's got that 3-second time penalty. Avesta has got 1 warning. In match 2, 0 warnings for Wakanda so far in this race. So as they all head down towards the last sector, pretty much with Snake right there, they're all trying to get into each other's DRS zones, as Jerry's got his 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, first one for him on the day. Alex Bomberg is indeed closing up there on Pepine, as well as Nick Pancras closing up on Karen. We've got one of the no-names who's got a time penalty. That is Nick Pancras with a 3-second time penalty already. His 4th warning of the race. Not a very good start for him then. He's staying in P7, closing up to Karen. Karen does not have DRS. There's a battle right there. I'm going for P10. Joey has just moved past Milan Kotstrup. Is Milan going to try to fight back on the inside? He will. Really close together out of turn number 3. But Joey stays ahead. Milan has DRS though. Will he try to go around the outside towards turn number 5? Could get this corner right here. He'll brake late as he did to Alex, but can he get the move done this time? Jerry is still there. They're really close to each other. Wheel to wheel battle right here towards turn number 7, sorry, as he drives around the outside and makes the move done, holds onto his position. Yoda Speak now goes past, and there's a spin. It is X18 into the wall. Has not got damage still, but MK17 now has got a 3-second time penalty, and apparently Yoda Speak tried to move past Jerry as he had to slow down, of course, due to all those battles. So seemingly he does have damage. It's not quite apparent right here, but X18 does have damage on that car. TRT Kimmy's got his first time penalty of the day. There goes Lukanik now past MK17 for P4. MK17 has apparently lagged, is now back up ahead. And Alex Bomberg moving past Pepine. Pepine is DRS here, could fight back. Is he going to go to the inside, to the outside? Is he not going to dive actually? Going to turn all, they're really close. Pepine locks up, almost goes into the back of the Mercedes as Jerry stays ahead of Yoda Speak for the time being. Battle there for P10 as the yellow flags there in sectors 2 and 3, and that is MK17 has gone off, and he spun at the exact same corner that his teammate did. Has he got damage to that car? He's now down into P9. I don't know if he will try to go into the pits, and he will. Crossing there those white lines on the pit entrance. That should be a time penalty added to his time there at the end. And MK17 then into the pits. P13 he is probably going to drop back behind those guys. So now Nick Pancras moves up into 5th. He went past Karen. Karen into 6th. Alex already in 7th place. What a recovery from Alex here on this beginning of the race. Going from 15th to 7th. Making up 8 places and only 6 completed laps. Sylvester's really close up there for P1 with 2 Candarone. There's 5 tenths right there between them, both on those soft tires. If I had to guess, I'd guess they would both go for the strategy game battle, as James is still up there closing on them. Lukanik could try to close on them as well. I don't think Nick Pancras has got the base to fight here for the lead, but those 4 drivers up there on the top, they have quite a good chance here of possibly taking the win. As we complete lap number 7, not a lot of battles currently ongoing wheel to wheel, but there is Vesta now closing for the lead, 4 tenths of a second, separating him and the Renault. Is he going to try to get past on the track, or is he going to wait for the pit stops? Should be the pit stops around lap 15 at the latest, to put on the medium tyres. It's not a track that wears a lot. And there goes Yoda Speak now past Jerry. Jerry is probably going to try to fight back. He has not got DRS, so Yoda Speak make quite the right move there to get past Jerry and still use that DRS to capitalise on the next straight and keep it going all the way into turn number 5. So see all the top 4 there in DRS range of each other. Lukanik is closing up pretty quickly on those guys. Alex has got his first penalty. So from the leaders, both Vacandraring and Avesta have got 2 seconds of time penalties each, as Lukanik has got 1 and TRT James has got 4 warnings, which means he has already a 3-second time penalty to be added to his time at the end of the race. As Milan Kotstrup has now gone into the pits. I don't know if he had damage to that car. There it goes all the way down now, fitting the medium tyres back out onto the racetrack as they're going to get ahead of X18. And not sure, and he will, yeah, he will get ahead of him. So battle right there, one going for the lead of the race, 6-10 separating all of these. It's kind of a DRS train at this point. The yellow flag in sector 2, Yoda speaker's gone off. And he's had a crash there with Jerry down at turn number 5. They've both gone off, there's a safety car deployed. Yoda speaker's gone off with the house of Jerry. TRT James has gone into the pits, he's the only one from the leaders to have gone into the pits. As well as Nick Pancras, who is the driver right behind him. I'm pretty sure everyone's going to come into the pits now, try to fit the hard tyres. I believe it will be the best bet to make it to the end of the race. TRT James has put on another set of softs. Wonder what strategies he's going to put on right here. Nick Pancras also put in the soft tyres. Everyone's seeming to put the softs. They're not going to make it to the end of the race, obviously. As Alex Bombig then out onto the track, also on the soft tyres. What tyres is Kimi going to put on? Also putting on softs. And Jerry will have to change his wing. He's got 63 of damage on. Oh, an MK17 seems to have a failure on this strategy. He's just put the intermediate tyres on. It's getting a bit cloudy, yes, but I'm not so sure. What is he going to try to do right here? There's rain forecasted for some time closely. I'm not so sure, but it goes out on intermediate tyres. Interesting strategy right here to say the least from MK17. It's going to be hard to drive. I don't know if he's going to push it back to the pits here. As see on the chat here, Yoda Speakers apologised for an incident with Jerry, so it seems to be him to blame. So we couldn't quite really see the incident between those two, but all we know is that Jerry did get a lot of damage to that front wing. So I wonder what are those intermediate tyres going to. He's rather holding up the pack. The leaders have already caught up to the safety car. The top 4 have not pitted yet. Wakanda Aria, Vesta, Lukanik and Kerem. So the safety car could shake up the whole strategy game here. I'm going to ask the drivers if there was rain forecasted. So safety car period, not all drivers have caught up to the safety car queue here, all the way up into that seems to be Nick Pancras. Yep, the last driver on the safety car queue. And see a little bit of Yoda Speak space before he had retired. His fast lap was a 1 minute 7.3, not too bad. He was pacing quite well, to be fair. As Kerem has now pulled into the pits. On the 3rd lap of safety car, Kerem has gone into the pits, but on intermediate tyres as well. So can't really see, it's not raining. But it should start raining pretty soon. MK17's got a penalty on the safety car. Those intermediate tyres are pretty much undrivable, but they should be the strategy for the moment. Jerry now into the pits, probably going to put the intermediates as well. So we thought MK17 had put the inters because something was wrong, because he probably did a mistake setting up his tyres, but that could be the strategy of the race. Intermediates on for Jerry as well. I don't even know if he's going to catch up to the safety car queue, if I'm honest. Don't really know if the safety car is coming in this lap. But still, Jerry now out on the intermediates. Should start raining soon, but if the safety car comes in this lap, I tell you, it's a massive disadvantage for these guys. Jerry, MK17, I think they did pit too early. Wasn't really the time to put on the intermediate tyres. It's still dry. The track has not even started raining. It's not even wet. Safety car stays out for one more lap for the sake of the guys that have pitted for the intermediates. Vesta, I believe Vesta cut a little bit of the pit entrance line there. Don't believe that is allowed. That says right there, pit window open. MK17 then back to the pits after fitting in the intermediates. Now I'm really curious to see what tyres will he be putting on. Maybe a new set of inters? Yes, he will. I don't think it's even worth it to put another set of tyres, another different compound. Gonna come out ahead of Jerry. Not quite. It's going to be really close between these two, but I believe Jerry is ahead, and he is. He's out to the pits, goes MK17 in last place. As we wait for the safety car to return to the pits, only the top three has not pitted yet in this race. And all the way from 4th to 8th have got fresh soft tyres on their cars. A little bit of it. Position change right there between Lukanek and TRT James. Safety car is coming in this lap, and we will be going back to racing. That is not good news for the drivers using the intermediate tyres, because it has not rained. Now it does start sprinkling. Now, here is the thing: when is it going to be enough for the intermediates to have an advantage over the dry tyres? And will those guys, Karam, Jerry and MK17, be benefited from that? It's raining here in Austria as Wakanda pacing the field towards the green flags and commits to the pit lane entrance and leaves it. As round the final corner he will go, and the race is ongoing again. Wakanda from Avesta. Avesta got a really good restart all over the back of that Renault car, trying to get him here towards turn 1. It's going to be really tricky conditions to drive here. Wonder what is going to be the comparison right now between the intermediates and the drives. The drives seem to be faster as it goes Vesta around the outside going into turn number 3. It's going to be really close between these two drivers. Vesta tries to switch back from the outside of turn number 3. Could not quite get the position. There's a yellow flag right there. There seems to be Kimi going off. And it is. Kimi has spun off down to turn number 3. And a couple of drivers losing their spots as well. I believe the intermediate tyres are still not the fastest at the moment. Alex has now moved past Nick Pancras for 5th. TRT James moved past Lukanek and Avesta into the lead of the race past Wakanda. There's more cars off. There's an Asia tyre's gone off as well. Kimi and Jerry really close to each other. Kimi has gone past them. The time lost right here might be equivalent to the time lost in the pit lane for the guys on the dry tyres. I don't know, when is it going to be enough? Alex has now moved past TRT James. Up into P2 he'll go. Past Wakanda Raring. And he goes off. Oh, and back onto the track. He's got damage here. Wakanda Raring has got damage. Alex did outbrake himself. Back onto the track right in front of Wakanda Raring. And this is not going to be good news for the Renault driver. He's lost that end plate on the left side. Bad Boy has also got damage to that car. Pepine has also got damage as well on that McLaren. It's all going down here. It's all going off on the beginning of this stint here on mixed conditions. So Vesta then in the lead. James has got the fresh soft tyres. Could get past Vesta really soon here. When will it be time to get onto the... Oh, and Vesta's done a mistake. James has moved past him. Vesta's spun. And he's gone off all on his own. Down at turn number 8. Everyone goes past him. Vesta now down into 9th. 8th place actually. It's a disaster for Vesta here. James now moves into the pits. And everyone coming into the pits to put on the intermediates. 5-second time penalty for Nick Pancras. And everyone coming in. Karam will be the leader of the race by a distance over the guys behind. He has put that strategy bang on. MK17 will be running 2nd and Jerry in 3rd. After putting on the intermediates under the safety car, in the end, it was the right strategy. for these guys. They've put on the intermediates, and now back to the track, everyone on the inters, and it's all going off here. This race went from quite boring with not a lot of battles ongoing. It's now all gone crazy. Kerem, who was in P7, is now at the lead of the race. MK17 is now in P2, and Jerry, moving 8 places from his starting place, is now running P3. Alex and X18, who did not qualify, are now P6 and P7 each. They've both each gained 9 places. And that spin from Avesta has cost him dearly. Jerry has now got a 3-second time penalty. That makes up 6 for him. MK17 has also got 6 seconds, and Kerem has no penalties at all. So Kerem is quite comfortable here. If the race stays under green flags all the way through, he will be quite comfortable to get the win here in this race. So 6 seconds already is the gap between the front runners. Now, what can James do here on these fresh intermediate tyres? Just come out of the pits. Nick Pancras, he summing that with his time penalties for speeding in the pit lane. He has got 11 seconds worth of time penalty, so, and 3 pit stops. So there's a battle right there. Alex Bomberg now moves past Nick Pancras. Up into 5th goes Alex. Alex has also got 6 seconds in time penalties, all for exceeding track limits. James does not seem to be closing on Jerry, so it seems to be all a race between the top 3. Actually, Karen, with that beautiful gap right there, but 6 seconds, I don't believe he will be caught by the drivers behind. Now, what else is going on right here at the back? There's a Candarone really close to X18. As they see behind X18's got pressure from Wakanda and Avesta, the 2 that were fighting for the lead of the race. It's now all gone wrong for them, and now they're in 8th and 9th. They were 1st and 2nd a few laps ago, and it's now all unfolded right here as Milan Kotra has now got another 3-second time penalty. That will make up for, let me check, that makes up for 12 seconds already worth of penalties for him. Not a very good number. See the glow of the rotors right there. The brakes are really hot. Out at number 3, of course, the heavy braking zone heats up the brakes a lot, but he gets a cool down here. It's a long straight still, but here goes Okandarering, puts it around the outside here of X18. Can he quite get to the side of him? No, he can't. Stays behind. Kerem 5.9 still ahead. Jerry 1.6. And it all, James is closing up on the guys in front. How many penalties does TRT James have? I'm going to check right here. How many penalties do the front runners have? James has only got 3 seconds in penalties. Jerry and MK17 have got 6. Kerem has only got 1 warning so far. So it's all down now here. Alex is closing up as well. His last lap was 3/10 quicker than TRT James's lap. He's got 1 more time penalty. Actually, James is 1 warning away from his 2nd penalty of the day, so we could still be close to another penalty for the McLaren driver. Provisionally, he is ahead of Jerry, but it could come soon, another penalty for him. See, this is the typical part of racing there. It can all change in a matter of time. In a blink of an eye, this race has changed everything in its course. The top 3, I don't believe anyone would bet on them being the first 3 drivers about 5 laps ago. James trying to close up on Jerry. He got, let's compare the lap times right here. James's last lap was 9/10 quicker than Jerry's. So, and Jerry is also quicker than MK17. James was 6/10 quicker than Kerem up in front. Vesta now moves past X18. There's this battle here between those three guys here. The Canderari now pulls to the outside, and late on the brakes right there, trying to get on the side of a Vesta as well. It's all going there. There's 5 for P7. They're all gonna let X18 by, and it's all gone wrong for him. A Vesta up into P7. Canderari stays in these for the moment. And Papine, who was running quite well right there, having a solid race, sadly got a little bit of damage there, and that cost him quite a few good spots in this race. And we'll keep comparing the lap times between the front runners. James is now all over the back of Jerry. Jerry runs wide, could get a penalty for that, hasn't not got it. James has got his second time penalty. He's now summing up 6 seconds in total. But let's see the lap times. James's lap time was almost 2 seconds faster than Jerry's. And here he goes then towards turn 3. He's got the gap. Is he going to try the diver here? Yellow flags in sector 3. That is for Bad Boy. And Jerry stays ahead for the moment. Now, what can he do here as we approach turn number 5? Does he have a lot of battery here to use? They're really close to each other. As round the outside, he's going to try to put on right here. He's going to try to put the move here. Not going to quite make it. Still going to try to switch it back. Try to sweep around the outside into number 7. Can he get that move done and finally get past the Haas of Jerry? Not quite getting it done. Stays behind in 4th place for this lap. But the last lap comparison here, James was again 8/10 quicker than MK17. He is lapping a lot faster than the front runners. MK17 then lapped closely there to Kerem. But still, heading on to the next lap here, we're going to get another comparison at the times. MK17 did close up a little bit more. But both MK17 and Jerry are now on 8 warnings. So another one, we're going to get another time penalty. Really close between 3rd, 4th and 5th as Alex has closed on these guys. James tries to capitalize on a little bit of a mistake there. Not quite reaching apex as Jerry, but Jerry stays ahead. I wonder if there is any damage to those guys. Not really, not quite anything, but there goes James then trying around the outside. He's now going to try the switch back on Jerry. Seems to have got a really good exit out of that corner, and really stable has got through into 3rd place, into the podium places. Back up again goes the McLaren driver, now setting his targets towards MK17, and the yellow flag still, that is for Bat Boy, once again has gone off. Now back towards the pit lane. Now TRT James, he has got to close up that gap to Kerem in quite a high rate, and he needs to open up 6 seconds of him at the end of the race. This, if he doesn't get any more penalties, still could be a possibility. Now, a comparison of their last lap times, MK17 and TRT James are pretty equal, but they both lapped 8/10 faster than Kerem. So MK17 keeping up this pace. He did a 1:13.7 the last time round. If he keeps up this pace, he could catch up to Kerem, but he has also got 6 seconds worth of penalties. Could catch him on track. Both of these two there, 2nd and 3rd. This is a race for the win, I would say, between Kerem James, and I would say MK17 has also got a shot at it. We're only lap 23 of this race. Wonder if everyone enjoyed this race so far as much as I did. Then here we go then, 4.5 seconds is the gap between 1st and 2nd place, 2.5 between 2nd and 3rd. No DRS obviously, as we are under raining conditions. 4.4 seconds, still trying to get that gap down into he needs to get past an open 6 seconds or maybe count on Kerem getting another time penalty. Kerem has only got one warning. So there you go, current order in the points list. Alex has moved past, and there's a crash. Bad Boy is out of the race, right there in sector 1. Oh no, he's got a safety car. Oh, and that's going to change everything in this race. There's a safety car deployed. Jerry has just moved past Alex. He's going to need to get that position back. And he does. Lukanik has had to change his front wing in the pits. The drive-through penalty for... I wonder who is that penalty for. It is going to be for Milan Kostra for pit lane speeding, as we just got the news right here from the telemetry. So this safety car, MK17 pulls into the pits, James into the pits, Alex is going to stay out, and Jerry into the pits as well. So interesting strategies here. Jerry has now got a penalty for speeding on the pits. MK17 has put on the full wear tyres. Interesting strategy as well, but I'm not going to say anything else because last time he did the weird strategy, it did pay off. It did seem like a mistake, firstly, but we have not got any news that it's turning into heavy rain. It's still light rain at the moment. Track is losing temperature, but the wet tyres here, he's the only one to put the wets. Avesta then back into P3 and Lacandareri in P4, they're back in contention. Let's check here the positions and the penalties. Lacandareri has got no time penalties at all, so that is going to play in his advantage. He needs to get past those guys. Kerem has also not got a penalty, as we all know. Only one warning for Kerem, 2 for Lacandareri. So we wait for the few to catch up. Just gonna let the guys go through and get their laps in. It's gonna be about 10 laps to go as soon as we return to racing. So I wonder here if those tyres from Kerem are going to make it to the end of the race without a puncture. I mean, it could be a possibility. He's already used those tyres for 13 laps. They seem to be really degraded on that car. Just gonna have a look here into his tyre group if we can. And provisional championship standings here are going to be 60 points, 68 points for Kerem, 40 points for Alex, 30 for Avesta. Actually, Lacandareri will be in 42 after the race. It's all going off here in this thing, as Milan Kostra is also retired from the session. I don't know if I missed that. But just gonna wait and see how are going to be Kerem's tyres. This will probably be the last lap of safety car action. Jerry had to return to the pits. I wonder if he got damaged. Yeah, he did. He did get damaged here. He got 38 of damage. I did not quite see that. Apologize for that, but pit stop, it's gonna cost him quite a few spots. So here we go then, waiting on the confirmation of the safety cars returning this lap. Kerem, then the leader of the race, will probably paste a few towards the green flags if it happens. Oh, a lot of incidents actually going on right here. Gonna see if we can get all the way down to see if the safety car is returning. I don't even know if that says in the race director. But there you go, it's coming in this lap. Kerem, leader of this race with no time penalties, but really worn out intermediate tyres. If Alex can get past him here early and set off, Avesta's also got only 3 seconds in penalties, while Canderering has none. I believe the safety car is the worst thing that could happen for Kerem, if I'm honest. So here we go then, back on the green flags. Battle for P3 here. James going to try to get on the inside, and he's got both of them. He's got both of them. They were both battling Avesta and Wakanda. What a move by James. Alex has now gone down the inside. This is for the lead of the race. Alex needs to get this move done and get a gap to Kerem here. Lukanik is now retired from the session. Alex into the lead of the race from P15 on the grid. This is unbelievable stuff on this race. They now both move past James. Now here comes Kerem trying to fight back. Avesta moves back past TRT James. Now Wakanda now all the way down to 5th. All the way into the grass there. Oh, and this MK17 has gone right into the middle of traffic there. I believe he got a little bit of wing damage there. Those wet tires are not working at all. Lukanik then retiring from the session. Jerry's also received a time penalty there, but oh, there's a spin. There's a spin. It's CRT James has gone off, and a spin right there. That's going to cost him important points in this championship. He's gone off right there at the last 2 corners. Avesta into the pits as well. So it's all down to Wakanda Raring, Kerem and Alex for this race win. And TRT James gives up, retires from the session. Don't quite think he would get points in these conditions. MK17 regretting his strategy to go onto the full wets. Alex has now got to not get any more penalties. He's got 7 warnings compared to 0 penalties for both Kerem and Wakanda Raring. It's all down to penalties here. It's all going on in the last part of this race. If you have something else to do, delay it a little bit. Watch those last 8 laps of this race. It's all going to be crazy and madness here. Alex needs to get a 6-second gap. He needs to open 5/10 a lap to the racing point of Kerem. As round the final 2 corners he'll go. He needs a little bit more pace than that to be able to get this win right here. As it's into the pits now goes X18. Has he got any damage? Not really. But into the pits, he will go. Didn't quite get any message that he had wing damage. But anyways, moving on. Kimmy is into P5. Kimmy ran all the way in the back throughout the whole race. Nick Pancras has now moved up into 4th. And Nosy Tires. Sorry. Nosy Tires in P6 and Jerry in P7. But Pine in P8. X18 P9 and Avesta P10. Now, how much can Alex take off on this gap right here? Starting 15th on the grid. Can he get the win here? He is on the good position. Kerem just needs to capitalize that pace on the old intermediate tires. Alex has not got the gap yet to a Canderari, as neither of them have time penalties. Nick Pancras, on the other hand, has got 9 seconds worth of penalties. I don't believe he is a contender to win. Meanwhile, TRT Kimmy has got only 3 seconds. Could get past Nick Pancras. Tyres has also got 3 seconds. Jerry has 9. So 3.4 seconds as Alex got a brilliant gap. Build here to Kerem. 6 laps to go. Avesta's gone off again in turn number 8. I believe that could cause a virtual safety car, so that would be really bad for Alex. Alex needs to build this gap right here. 3.8 seconds. He is building that gap and going on. Could go on to win it. Can you believe it? If I told you in qualifying that he was not even present until 2 minutes left in qualifying, could go on to win the race. It could be his first VRL win, if he can hold this one off, but of course it's not over yet. Anything can still happen yet. 18 laps won out tyres for Kerem. 4 seconds is the gap between them. Needs 2 more. Kerem also starting P7, did the right strategy, did the right call to go into the intermediate tyres on the first safety car, but it got really compromised on the second safety car when all the pack bunched up and he lost all that gap he had, and could well cost him the race victory here, even though he has not got a time penalty. 4.1 seconds, needs to keep the gap up. Milan Kotzer has now left. 10 drivers still in the session, and 10 drivers still on it. Nick Pancras trying to move past Wakanda Raring here. If any kind of issue happened between Wakanda Raring and Nick Pancras, Kimi could steal the podium. This is a crazy race. I think Kerem is being able to keep up that gap constantly as Alex's tyres are also wearing out. What a finish we're going to have to this race. I don't really think Wakanda Raring is in contention for victory here. As across sector number 2, we're going to go out across the line for 4 more laps. Alex will probably need about half a second per lap to be sure that he's going to get that one. It's going to be so close at the end of this race right here. Kerem and Alex are both going to be pushing themselves for their lives as we go here into 4 laps remaining only in this race. This is unbelievable stuff. At the end of the Austrian Grand Prix, 5 seconds is the gap. Alex is building that up massively. Could well get those 6 seconds at the end of the race. It's 4.7 now. It did do a little bit of a mistake, I believe, but still needs to get that gap up to 6. It's all down to penalties for the end of this race. 4.8 seconds. MK17B has now got another time penalty as Tyres now moves past Kimi for P5. They're both in the same time penalty conditions, so at the moment Tyres would get P4 and Kimi would get a brilliant P5 for him as well. 5.1 seconds is a gap. Alex really pushing as hard as he can, as hard as he ever pushed, to try to get this victory right here. Crossing the line, 3 laps remaining. He's doing his thing here, has got to count on everything else around him staying clean. And on no mistakes, 0 mistakes from either of these drivers at the moment. 5.6 seconds, he's building that one up. He's building it up all the way into 6. It's now decreased down to 5.3. Oh, this is going to be so close at the end. Alex in 5.2 seconds. 5.3 seconds, trying to build that up into 6. Short track, it's going to be ending quickly here. 3 laps to go, 2.5 laps remaining. Nick Pancras closing up. There's a big fight there for P3 on track. Of course, Nick Pancras is going to lose all those places due to his time penalties. Oh, and Alex has got another warning. If he gets one more warning, it goes up to 9. He's not going to be able to get it. He's got 8 warnings here. He can't get one more, but at the same time he needs to push to get that gap up. He might have looked like he went off a little bit there, but no penalties at all. As Tyres now moves past Nick Pancras on track. Pancras goes wide. Kimi could try to steal that place, but Pine has now got a penalty. 5.8 seconds, 2 laps to go. 14 places made up for Alex in this race. Unbelievably well driven. 6 seconds is the gap between the two of them. And now Kerem has got a second warning as well. So either of those, if they get one more warning, they're going to get another time penalty. As Alex here seems to be comfortable to get the victory, he just has to capitalize on not getting more warnings. He is really pushing for his life out here. They're both draining their ERS as much as they can. MK17 for some reason has gone out for the soft tires. It's probably not dry enough. Yeah, it's not even stopped raining. But there you go, 7 seconds towards the final lap of the race. And all going wrong here for Kerem on the second safety car. White flag, 1 lap to go for Alex. 6.9 seconds, 19 laps, 1 out, intermediate tyres. Nursing them to the end. There's also Kerem on 23 laps old. Quite a hopeless race in first sight for Kerem. Has made that up brilliantly on the strategy. It's sadly not going to come together for a race win at the end here. He's got to count on a mistake from Alex here. The gap is provisionally 1.3 seconds between them. And this should be the podium, as Kerem nor Canderari have time penalties. No warnings being taken from either side of this battle here. 7.5. It's going to come together for Alex here. I believe it should be the first driver to not qualify for a race and still be able to win it. Round the last sector of the circuit here goes. 7.7 seconds. Oh my goodness. There's going to be so much pressure over him now. Round the final 2 corners. Did not quite qualify in the race. Arrived late to the lobby. Started only in 15th place. And around the line to win his first VRL race is Alex Bomberg. Winning the Austrian Grand Prix in majestic style, as Kerem will only nail for 2nd place. And this time, apart from the lobby glitches, Alex has got the victory. Wakandarari final podium spot. Ties up into P4. Kimi finishes P5. P6 for Nick Pancras. P7 for Jerry. P8 will go all the way into X18. P9 for Pepin. And P10 will be for MK17B. A strategy for Kerem did not pay out. And the first career VRL victory for Alex Bomberg in Austria has got to be the driver of the day. Surely there's no other pick for driver of the day award rather than the man in the Mercedes car winning his first VRL race. And what a race we've had here in Austria. I don't believe anyone could predict this would be the podium results, or this would be the winner basically from this race. What a win from Alex, what a win for Mercedes' first victory in F2 this season. Wow. So we're going to see the results, then we're going to invite the top 3 for the party. Alex Bomberg, the victory that he wanted for so long in the league that he is the owner of. Winning the race from P15, 2 stops done, 6 seconds in time penalties, capitalise those to make it to the end on a majestic victory here in Austria. Kerem and Vacandarari, we're going to be inviting those as well for the party shortly. But what a win, and what a popular win this is going to be for Alex. Kerem also in P2. I'm pretty sure he could be pleased with that, if I'm honest. I'm now just going to invite them for the party, so if you could hold on just a little minute. And I quite forgot that Kimi had another 5-second time penalty. Still, it does not change his finishing position. So trying to invite them right now. So you could hold on just a second. I'll try to do this as quick as I can to get back onto the screen. So there you go, all three of them are invited to join the party for the post-race interviews. What a race we had. We'll both be waiting here for them to enter the party. So there you go, the first driver here to enter the party. We're kind of raring. Good evening to you as well. Great race right there, great pole lap actually, that on the dry, but then suddenly the strategy didn't go quite well there in the first safety car, and then I believe there was a little bit of contact there and ended up losing a bit of places. Still able to recover back to our podium. How did that feel from your perspective?
In this race, and but I'm still happy. P3.
So it's a great result for the championship. Do you think you can still challenge the front runner? Kerem still finished ahead, but do you think you can still challenge him at the end of things?
Honestly, I can, but it's difficult. It's difficult. It's not too easy.
Yeah.
But
No.
I will try to win this championship.
Right. Thank you very much, and congratulations on the podium finish today.
Thank you.
So as now we move on to the interviews. Race winner Alex arrived late to the lobby, but then still able to make her places there on the start. It was quite a flying start actually, making her places very quickly. Then it all went right there on the after the second safety car. Tell us, how does that feel to get your first win in VRL?
Right, it feels great. From being busy, missing the start of qualifying and joining such at the back, I was hoping for a top 8 would be great. I saw Avesta was up at the front, so my idea was to try and just back him up. I heard that there'd be rain, so I compromised on my setup for the first part of the race, anticipating the rain. So that's, I think, why I had a bit more pace in the back come when the rain actually came. But yeah, everything kind of seemed to fall into place today. Had a good start, kept my nose clean. There was a couple of safety cars, and when it started to rain, and then the grip just went away straight away. I think I made a little bit of contact with Wakanda and broke his front wing, so I'm not sure if I'm under investigation for that. They'll probably have a look into it.
Don't worry.
I'm happy with him saying that and not reporting it, but again, apologies. And he did a great job to finish in P3. But in terms of my race, I think I got quite lucky because I believe MK17B went to the wets, which was the wrong strategy because when he went to the wets, the rain started to stop and the track started to dry. So I knew that was wrong, and I knew Kerem had put his tyres on early, so it's just a case of trying to get past him as soon as possible and build a gap. I picked up quite a few penalties at the start because I had a glitch in my game. I think I commented on the stream during one of the safety cars, but I had a glitch in my game which wouldn't let me see when I was picking up penalties and how many penalties I had. So I wasn't quite able to judge what was a penalty and what wasn't. So that hindered me at the start of the race, but I knew I had 6 seconds of penalties. I was quite conservative on track limits because I just wanted to get the gap and move, and I think I finished with about 1.5 seconds to Kerem, so yeah, I'm really happy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all understand that you are happy, and we would all be really ecstatic to get this victory like that from the back of the grid. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations on the victory.
Cheers.
So I don't think we got Kerem to join the party, so we might just end the stream here. So yeah, so thank you for watching this amazing race from start to finish, and we'll see you next weekend for Silverstone.